Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to our show. On this episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff, we're going to be talking about the Helson watch company. They're a Hong Kong based micro brand and who is very popular for their dive watches. And like most micro brands, they kind of started out doing a lot of different homage style pieces, but with a lot more modern techniques and higher water rating and some newer features like ratcheting clasps and just newer technology to older designs. As the brand's maturing, they're starting to venture out on some of their own more original designs. This watch in particular that we're going to be covering today is the Helson Shark Diver 42 millimeter, and this particular spec is actually a one-off. So this was actually customized by Helson for me to my particular spec and what I wanted. You'll notice a different handset and different dial and also slightly different bezel insert. So we'll cover that, but let's just jump right in. So the Helson Shark Diver comes in a 40 millimeter, 42 millimeter, and a 45 millimeter, and in all types of different materials. You can get it in bronze, brass, titanium, number of movements. You could do ETA or the Miyota. So you have options there, and then the price is going to vary. For this particular spec, I mean the regular unmodified Helson Shark Diver 42 millimeter, you're going to be looking at $599. And then with the mods, the price can climb pretty high, pretty fast. I'm actually looking to hopefully get a small run done of some more refined versions of the Helson Shark Diver 42 millimeter, something similar to this. I actually have some renderings and some prototypes that are being mocked up as we speak. So there'll be a follow-up for that. But until then, let's focus on just kind of the general characteristics of the Shark Diver 42. So it's 42 millimeters in diameter. It actually has a 14.5 millimeter height. They use 316L surgical stainless steel. The crystal is a sapphire. It's 3 millimeters thick with inner anti-reflective coating. As far as the bezel and crown go, it's unidirectional, of course. Dive bezel. It actually has a very nice sapphire bezel insert. So those markings there are actually lumed, and you'll see them glow later on when we do the lume shot. The crown is signed. It's a screw down crown. The movement in this particular model is the Miyota 9015, so it's hackable and hand winding, and also has the nice 4 hertz sweeping second hand. The movement itself does have some Geneva striping on it. The case back is solid with a nice etching on it. As far as the dial, hands, and lume go, the actual dial on this one comes from a discontinued Helson model, the Spear Diver, which is kind of where I got the idea. And that model is actually that particular dial pays a specific homage to an older Seiko model known from the Apocalypse Now movie. So really kind of classic dial. For those of you real Seiko fans out there, you'll probably recognize the indices. They do look a little bit similar, but of course, updated date at the 6 o'clock, slightly different handset. I mean, it's close, but in the dive watch community, it is hard to find a dial that's 100% original, and I feel that this particular dial pays homage without being, a straight clone. So I really like the way it looks. It actually has a matte or a satin kind of textured black dial, and with applied indices, as you can see. It uses C3 Swiss Super Luminova. It is water resistant to 500 meters or 1,640 feet. It actually has a nice automatic helium escape valve. And then getting onto the bracelet, very nice, solid, really chunky bracelet, solid end links, solid links, screw-in links, special screw-in end links. You'll see everything is brushed and machined. It's a non-tapering bracelet, which I normally would prefer a tapering bracelet just because it's just a little bit more refined. And you know, the reason why it probably isn't is to save money, because honestly, having the different size links produced, actually, you know, that can start getting costly versus just having to produce one size link. So they are screw pins that are used in the bracelet, and the clasp is signed. It has a single lock on it, and then it has a very nice ratcheting diver extension. It also offers 3 micro adjustments. So let's go ahead and get this on the wrist. Let me zoom out here so you can just get a little bit more room. And let's actually, before we put it on the wrist, let's just take a look here. As you can see, it's a 120 click. Ooh, let's get it to focus there. 120 click bezel. So very nice action on that. So more precise, less back play than you'd find in just a 60 click bezel. And it does line up very nicely at the top there. As far as the actual bezel being customized, normally there's actually indexed minute markers here all the way to the 20, which isn't done for my particular version, because I kind of wanted to go for more of a clean classic look. Take a look here. We can see the very nice, ooh, if I can get it to focus there. Maybe it's not going to get closer to that, but you can see there, very nice signed Helson H screw down crown, really chunky, beefy bracelet, great etched case back here, and you can see nice diver's extension, folding clasp, and then you can get a closer look at the really cool little, you know, a diver with some sharks around him. So nothing too crazy, but it's a nice etching, and you know, it speaks to the toolish nature of the watch. So let's go ahead and get this on wrist. Okay, so here we go. This is my custom Helson Shark Diver. Now on the wrist, it's very substantial. It definitely has some heft to it. If you wear automatic watches and dive watches in particular, you'll probably be used to the heft. But you know, if you're coming from quartz watches, this might come as a little bit of a shock to you as far as the weight goes. If you take a look at the profile there, you can see that it has a really great kind of proportion to it as far as the bezel. It's nice and tall, almost reminiscent of like the Marathon SAR, the search and rescue watches. The case shape, you'd probably, from far away, you would think, you know, it actually has kind of a the newer Rolex with the wide lug style, kind of that maxi case. I find it actually looks similar. For me, it kind of reminds me of the Longines Hydro Conquest case, which is one of my favorite watches, and I hope to do a review of it soon. Except it's kind of beefed up. It's on steroids, almost like you kind of take that and you cross it with the maybe something like the Oris Aquis, Of course, the Oris Aquis is more refined, but this is, you know, it's real rough and tumble kind of watch. It's on, you know, it's gonna be tough, and it's gonna be able to stand up to whatever kind of beating you're gonna give it. And you know, similar to the Longines. Let me just wipe a little bit of that dust off the Sapphire there. You'll see those really nice, big, pronounced crown guards, which almost have kind of an Art Deco kind of appeal to them. And then, of course, the nice H-Link bracelet, which is cool because the brand is Helson, so H-Links kind of tie in, which is nice. And as you can see, the lugs are drilled. They actually have a very special screw system in there, so this actually comes with a kind of isofrane style strap as well. My wrist is it's 7.25-inch wrist, so you know, I'd say above average size wrist. You know, on wrist, I'd say it's a great fitting watch. You know, I think if you look just at a wrist shot, it may seem a little bit big, but you know, on person, you know, kind of as you're walking and you look at the bigger picture and an entire human body with a wristwatch on, I think the watch fits proportionally really well. And you know, the finishings are very nice, extremely nice. One of the nicer finishings on a micro brand watch that I've seen that, you know, wasn't Swiss made. So this is kind of, you know, I'd say close to like the Japanese equivalent of a Christopher Ward. What Christopher Ward has done for the kind of boutique Swiss micro brand style, I'd say Helson and, you know, its sister companies that all kind of come out of the same factories in Hong Kong, the same factory to be specific, which is Full Swing. Really, you know, they take and they just, the finishings are so nicely done, you know, and it's nothing, you know, these watches are not cookie cutter. You won't find this bracelet on, you know, something from somewhere else, and, you know, this dial somewhere, and it's not one of those ones where it's pieced together, although there are brands that do that, you know, that you'll find on eBay. But for this particular brand, Helson, you know, they're really coming into their own, and I'm really looking forward to following up with you guys and showing you kind of the next iteration or evolution of this kind of custom watch project I'm working on with them. So let's take a look at the extension here. Let me just take this off. So the cool thing about these types of extensions are, you know, of course, if you're going to go diving, it's great because now you can fit it over your wetsuit a little easier. But what I find is nice is that, you know, let's say it's kind of hot, you can take a click out, and if your wrist expands a little bit, you can still stay comfortable, which is nice. Sometimes you want to wear it, you know, when you're out in the cold, you want to wear it nice and firm. Things get a little warm, you know, you get your blood pumping, and you can just use a little bit of relief. And it's nice that that feature is there. And of course, it's very solid. I find that in some micro brands, you'll get down underneath to the clasp, and this will feel very tinny. But this is, I don't know if you hear that. I mean, that's all solid metal there. You know, this. You know, I guess what's storing the pushers and the buttons aren't quite as thick, but go ahead and take a look at one of your watches at home that have a similar clasp to this, and I think you'll find that when you tap this little mechanism in here, that you'll find it's not the most solid thing on a lot of watches. And one thing that Helson did is they really got this right. So let's put the watch back down. We'll get in for our lume shot here. We'll zoom in. Oh. Okay. Let's get it all centered. Okay, let's get to our lume shot. So now, as you can see, the lume is extremely bright. Actually, I got another light on in the background. Let me turn that one off. Okay, cool, and we're back. So as you can see, the bezel is fully lumed as well. I don't know if the camera is picking it up that great, but very nice and bright, C3 super luminova. The face, of course, the dial is very nice, very symmetrical with that 6 o'clock date. So it's really nice to look at. I think it's great in the light. It's great in the dark. Very great feel to it, and it's just a really good watch that's really well made. You know, it doesn't have necessarily the heritage that you'll find, you know, in its competition, and even in some of the longer standing micro brands. But I'd say you get a ton of watch for your money. So let's go ahead and turn the lights back on. Okay. So kind of closing thoughts. On the wrist, this watch is extremely substantial feeling. It's very hefty. It's a tool watch, you know, but with refinement. And that's one of the things that I felt from the original package. You know, you'll probably be able to Google it, and you'll find that the original package was kind of printed indices, still very bright, of course, because the lume is outstanding, but it has even more of a toolish feel out of the box, and I just wanted something that was a little bit more refined. You know, for me, I feel like applied indices is you know, it's kind of a currency when it comes to getting a watch. You know, if it has applied indices, then you're getting a little bit more value. You know, it's just like if it has good lume, that counts for points. You know, adjustable clasp, that counts for extra points. More depth rating, that counts for extra points. So you kind of collectively add all these little small things, these features together, and you know, you find you get a lot of value, you know, out of something like this model from Helson, the Shark Diver. So, you know, there's some great color variants that you'll find in all ranges and sizes, but they do have some really cool ones. It's a very colorful watch. You know, I've actually decided to go with the black and steel for this watch because I just think it's kind of a classic look, although the Rolex Submariner kind of owns black and steel. You know, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I'm very partial to blue divers, but this is one of my favorite black divers, and it's just it's really a cool piece, and it, you know, to make it even cooler, I'm the only one with it, you know, as of right now. So I mean, there are a lot of different comparable models that are out there right now, especially on the micro brand side. I mean, the list could probably go on for days, but if you're looking for something that does have originality and does have a lot of street cred when it comes to actual, you know, a dive watch that divers in the community, and just water sports, you know, as far as watches that people wear to enjoy and not to kind of pack away and collect. The Helson brand has done a great job of establishing a reputation of making purposeful and very handsome and durable watches. So the bottom line for the Helson Shark Diver 42 is that you get a lot of watch for your money, and I have to say, you know, I definitely recommend it, and I look forward to hopefully expanding their line of Shark Diver 42s with my own spin. So go ahead and stay tuned for that. So if you guys like the video, please go ahead and click like, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. All right, guys, go ahead and feel free to leave comments below, and I'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks.